Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Dailey. I am coming on for science today. It's pretty rainy where I am today, so I decided that I would stay inside for science. We're going to read a story about food chains. We will answer some questions about food chains, and then I have an activity that you can do at home with your parents about food chains. So that's the plan for today's lesson. Before we go into the book, I want us to talk a little bit about the word food chains and what we think that means. So when we talk about the word food, we know food is something we eat, we put in our body, and it gives us energy. But we've learned about plants before, or most of you, if you're in my class, I know we've talked about plants before, and most of you understand a lot about plants. So plants make their own food from energy from the sun, right? The sun shines down, they soak up the sun, and they turn it into sugar in their body. That's their way of making food. So when I think of the word food, I think of the word energy and energy transferring. And then when I think about the word chain, I have an example of a chain. So it's a bunch of links that are connected. So the word food chain could mean energy or food connected together. So how does that energy or food connect together, okay? So let's open up our story and see if we can learn some new things about food chains. So let me make myself a little bit bigger. It's easier for you to see me. So our book today is called We Are Part of a Food Chain, okay? And remember, good listeners have their ears open, their mouths closed, and their eyes are on Miss Dailey or the story. And we're just going to look at the cover for a minute and talk about the cover. So what do you see on the cover? I want you to take a minute and turn to whoever you're watching the video with and talk about what you see on the cover. What are you noticing? Good. Yeah, it looks like there's 4 characters, maybe a family of 4, and they're sitting at the table, and it looks like they're having a meal together, maybe dinner or lunch, we don't really know. But it looks like they're having some sort of meal together. Beautiful job. All right, so let's go through our story and see what we can learn about food chains and how we are part of a food chain, okay? Joelle sits at the table. Her family is ready to eat. Joelle looks at her plate. She sees a salad. So remember, salad is those veggies like lettuce and tomato and carrots, and sometimes you have cheese and onions. But that's what a salad is, this green part on her plate, okay? Joelle asks, Mom, why do I have to eat salad? We all do that, right? Why do I have to eat my vegetables? What's important about vegetables? Let's see. Mom says salad is good for you. It is healthy food. It gives you energy. So in this picture, you can see her thought bubble. It's a picture of fruits and vegetables, and it says that they give your body energy. Remember this, where my mouse is, this sun with the lightning bolt going through it is energy, okay? Jacob asks, Mom, how does salad have energy? So we know salad doesn't move on its own. How is it giving us energy? How is it giving that to us? Mom says salad is made from lettuce. Lettuce is a plant. Plants get energy from the sun. They make their own food. We eat them to get energy. Okay, so let's look at our picture. Here we have the sun shining down on the lettuce plant, and that lettuce plant is soaking in the sun's energy, and it's mixing with the sugars inside of it to create its own food for itself to make it grow. So then when we eat the lettuce, we get that energy in our bodies. So cool. Jacob looks at his plate. The plate has chicken. Do chickens get energy from the sun? What do you guys think? Why don't you turn to whoever you're watching with and talk about what you think? Do chickens get energy from the sun? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Okay, I see a big variety, right? Some people are saying, yeah, I think so. And some are like, I don't think that's how chickens do it. So let's see what the story says. Mom says yes and no. Plants get energy from the sun. Chickens eat lots of plants. They eat seeds. They eat grains. They eat lettuce. Chickens get energy from plants. We eat chickens to get energy. So you guys were both kind of right, right? Some of their energy from the sun goes into the plants, and then the chicken eats those plants. So technically, the chicken got energy from the sun, but it got it because it ate the plants that got the energy from the sun first. Are you starting to see how these are all connected? So the sun passes the energy to the lettuce passes the energy to the chicken, and then we eat the chicken and we get the energy from the chicken. All connected. Dad says that is called a food chain. Plants use energy from the sun. They are producers. They make their own food. Oh, so if I zoom in, you can see this pyramid. And this is one way of showing a food chain. So the sun's at the bottom because that's where everything starts. The sun passes its energy to the plants, and the plants pass their energy on to the grasshopper. The grasshopper gets eaten by the frog, so the frog gets its energy. The snake eats the frog, so it gets that energy. And then the owl eats the snake, and so on, it continues to go. So every animal that eats the animal that's below it continues to get that energy all the way back down to the sun, okay? And plants are called producers because they produce or they make their own food. So this is one example of a food chain. So let's keep reading. Small animals eat plants. Animals are consumers. They eat things to get energy. Big animals eat the small animals. They get the energy. So this is the one that we're talking about in our story. The sun goes to the lettuce or the plant. The plant is a producer, so it makes its own food. The chicken is a consumer. It eats the plant and gets that energy. And then we as people are consumers. That just means we cannot make our own food. We have to get it from somewhere else. We eat the chicken and then we get their energy, okay? So it's just a big reaction, a chain linked together where we're all connected to get that energy. It all passes through that chain, okay? Joelle says lettuce is a plant. It makes its own food. Chickens eat lettuce. People eat chickens. That is a food chain. Jacob says, so we are part of a food chain. Dad says, yes, people are consumers. So here in Jacob's thought bubble, you can see the food chain again, and this is just another way to show it. Instead of a pyramid, it's going horizontally. So if you look at Miss Dailey's arrow, we start on the sun, and that energy passes to the plant. That energy passes to the chicken when he eats the plant, and then that energy passes to us people when we eat the chicken. So the energy just continues to go to the next part of the chain. That's right, says Mom. Now let's not talk about our food. Let's do what consumers do. Let's eat it. The end. All right, you guys were doing a great job listening and interacting. I'm going to go back to my cover because I like to go back and use it to answer questions. So we're going to look at some questions about the story and about food chains, and then I will show you the cool project that you guys can do at home with your moms and dads or brothers and sisters or whoever you happen to be with at home during the day, okay? So let's look at our questions. And I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller so that you guys can see the questions. So, where do plants and animals get their energy? So we know that we eat animals, and we are animals, so we as animals eat things to get energy. But what do plants do? Where does all the energy start? So I want you to look at your choices and think about, where does all the energy start? With your finger, touch the choice where all the energy starts, where the food chain begins. Is it the people? The sun or grains? Which one? Touch it with your finger. Beautiful job. Yeah, the sun is where all of our food chains start, and that's where the energy begins for everyone in the food chain. So that's a great job, guys.
Sun.
Beautiful. Let's go on to our next question. What do people get from food? So let's go back to the story. What do we get when we eat food? Let's see what Mom said. So they're sitting at the table. She looks at her plate. She says, why do I have to eat my salad? So why do I have to eat my food? And Mom says, why? What do we get from our food? So here's our food, and what does it give us? Do you remember what this symbol is for? Yeah, good job. Our last sentence says it gives you energy. So let's look at our choices. We have energy, sick, or hurt. So with your finger, touch the choice of the word that the food gives us. Beautiful job. The food gives us energy. Great job. Okay. What explains producers and consumers? So what do we use to describe the producers and the consumers and how they link together? Is it a producer, a calendar, or a food chain? So let's go back and look. Let's think about what our story was about. I think a lot of you know this answer, but I want to go back. I'm going to go a little bit further so we can see. Here it is. How are they linked together? What do we use to link them together? Great job. Yeah. Can you touch the name of the choice of how we link and explain producers and consumers together? Beautiful job. A food chain.
Food chain.
Great job. All right. What makes its own food? So which one creates its own food? It doesn't have to eat anything. It just gets energy from outside the sun and soaks it in and makes its own food. Is it nothing, a producer, or a consumer? Which one? Let's go back in the story because I think sometimes I get a little confused. So, and look, we're already on the right page. So it says, Dad says that is called a food chain. Plants use energy from the sun. They are producers. Oh, they make their own food. Okay, let's look at our choices. Which one makes its own food? Nothing, producer, or consumer. With your finger, can you touch the picture with the word that makes its own food? Beautiful job. Yeah, our plants here, they soak in the sunlight, they soak in that sun, and they make their food on the inside, right? Great job. One more question. What eats to get energy? So which one has to eat something in order to get its energy? Is it a plant, the sun, or a consumer? Touch the answer choice you're thinking. You guys are so smart. Consumer. Consumer is an animal. Just like us, we're animals. We have to eat things in order to get our energy. You guys did a beautiful job today. So let me show you my fun activity. And I made mine already, but you can make your own at home. I just used the things that were in the story that we read. So I have some cups, and I have put on here, this says sun. So the sun is at the beginning of our food chain. And then this one is a plant, and you can draw all over the cup plants. Same with the sun. And then don't laugh at Miss Dailey's drawings. We know Miss Dailey's not a very strong artist, and that's okay. We're not, all of us aren't good at everything, right? So here's my little chicken. He's kind of funny looking. And then the last one I have are my stick people. So you could take this amount of cups. You could do more cups or less cups, but I want you to draw on your cups different parts of your food chain, and then you can stack them together to create your chain. So I'm going to start with the sun, and then the sun passes its energy on to the plant. So then I'm going to put my plant on. After that, the chicken eats the plant. So where's my funky chicken? Right, he goes next. And then after that, the people eat the chicken. Okay, so now you can see how they're all linked together like a pyramid to make a chain, and you can practice putting them in order. You can talk about which one's a producer, which one's a consumer. and it's just fun to kind of draw on the cups and put them in order. So I hope you have fun with that activity. I would love to see pictures if you do decide to do this activity. Please feel free to send them to me on our class dojo. For those of you that aren't in my class and you'd like to share them, you are more than welcome to put them in the comments of this video. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you guys for our next lesson. Bye!